crisis is hitting the world again. We've just finished the global health crisis. There's war outbreak in Ukraine. Utility prices are spiking. Oil prices are spiking. I'm almost 50 years old, and in the last 30 years that I've been monitoring markets and economics, there's always some kind of crisis around the corner. Here's the breaking news. We are taught the wrong things at school, college and university. What am I talking about? Well, let's find out. The Matrix. Have you seen the movie? It's an interesting concept. Is it the truth or is it actually a make-believe? I strongly recommend everybody reads Rich Dad Poor Dad. It is a life-changing book, and there's a reason that it's one of the best-selling business-related books of all time. In today's video, we're going to talk about why the system is rigged against you, what kind of plan you should make to ensure that the system is now working in your favor, and let me give you a hint. The plan is not to give up your job tomorrow. Anyone who says that is talking baloney. So what do I mean that schools and universities are teaching the wrong stuff? Don't get me wrong, it is still vitally important to get an education. But what do schools and universities teach you? Well, it's purely academic based and not always life skills based. Even before I went to university, I got myself my first job as a labourer in a textiles factory, and I learned a very valuable lesson there. Come Friday night, everyone would get their pay packet. So, there were some people that were young like me and other people who were, middle-aged like my age now, and they were still working there. They would get their pay packet on Friday, and by Saturday afternoon, most of their pay packet was gone. And this was the only existence they had. It was at that time I realised that I do not want to be stuck in some kind of sausage factory, some kind of conveyor belt, and that be my life until I die. At school, college, university, they don't teach you this perspective. The perspective that you're generally taught is, well, get a good education, go and get yourself a job, and basically work until your retirement, and then, the rest. I would hate to be the person who is suffering under a bullying boss. We all have them, we've all seen them. Someone who's got a bit of a power trip and think, I'm going to make your life a misery. If your only outlook in life is your job, you're not going to have a very happy life. So today, let's talk about how you're being brainwashed and what you can do about it to do things in a different way. So what is the solution? Now, as I said earlier, the solution is not to give up your job. That's one of the worst things that you can do, and I see many people talking about this online. You don't want to do that. You want to reduce the pressure on yourself. If you've got a good job, keep that job. Get really good at that job, earn the most money you can at it. Actually, right now, especially in the UK and I'm sure in the US and other developing countries, due to inflation being high, the job market for key skilled workers is overheating. So you can actually get really good at your job, update your CV resume, and be out there looking for a new job and pay rise. I've got a favour to ask you. Smash that like button really hard, and if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button. But let me take you back to 1902. Even I wasn't born then. I was born back in 1972. But let's go back to 1902. There was a man called John Rockefeller. In today's money, he invested over 1 billion, that's billion with a B, in order to create the world's largest oil company. He's widely regarded as the wealthiest American of all time. And you could be wondering, well, what a fantastic guy this is. He gave a fortune to help other people develop into education. Well, you couldn't be further from the truth. Rockefeller was an oil billionaire. He did not want other people thinking. As a businessman, he wanted a nation of workers. The reality is that John didn't just get a set of fantastic employees from the system, but he eliminated millions of future competitors in upcoming generations. He wanted other people to believe that they could not compete with John Rockefeller in the major league. People are being taught that they'll never have enough and that their situations will never ever improve. This is bad because when you're faced with difficult situations, you don't really have a way out if we go with the typical education system. The reality is, and I'm a firm believer of this, that there are always opportunities there if you go out and find them. And this is key as part of the plan for the future for anyone. But the world has never been like this before. Back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when Steve Jobs, the super genius running Apple, was running ad campaigns, he had to pay millions or tens of millions in today's money to get his message on primetime TV for an advertisement. These days, you've got someone like Mr. Beast, who started off with nothing. He now has more viewers, more circulation than CNN or BBC. You can get your message out there right now with next to no money if you know what you're doing. Economically, the world is a tough place to be. My opinion, your priorities should be to shield and take care of yourself and your loved ones first, earn money and give lots to charity. That's the core blueprint of what I'm about. So how do you do this? Number one, understand that time is the most valuable commodity. Stop wasting time. Make the most use of your time that you possibly can. If you are working in a job, make sure that you get as good as possible at your job. Build additional streams of income. So back before the internet, many people used to do something called a tuition business, where they would, in their spare time, teach people subjects that they learned at school. Other people that kind of going through school, you could teach them. I set up a brand new Fiverr account. There's a link to the video floating around somewhere, where I took it from $0 to $500 simply by working online. You can build lots of income online by doing so many things. And when you have that income, invest it into something like property. Property will start to give you passive income, which means that you don't have to actively work to receive that money. So once you get the cash flow from property, in the longer term, you'll also get the capital appreciation. And this is your long-term plan. Now, when you have this long-term plan, if you have a bad day at work, or even if, heaven forbid, you lose your job, it's not the end of the world, because you've still got your backup plans. Even in your job, you're looking to build your side incomes so that one day you're fortunate enough to not have to work if you don't need to. Or one day you can decide, I don't want to work anymore, I want to do something else. This is your long-term plan. So if you want to get your long-term plan kick-started, start to build your additional income, click the link below. There's lots of information there. It's really that simple. Take care, stay safe, and I'll catch up with you really soon.